We are in the middle of a once-in-a-generational revolution in how software gets made. And I'm not talking about a simple upgrade. This is a total reinvention of the craft, and it's all being powered by generative AI. This isn't just about making things a little bit faster. It's about fundamentally changing how we build and even interact with our entire digital world.
And if you think this is some sci-fi future, you got to check this out. The AI Daily Brief just laid it out perfectly. The fastest growing software companies out there, they're all agent companies. This isn't a prediction, folks. This is an observation of what is happening right now on the ground.
So where's the proof, right? Let's start with the hard data, because the numbers, well, they show this agent takeover isn't some future trend, it's today's reality.
Okay, take a look at this data from Ramp. They track billions in corporate spending, so they know what's up. The top 5 fastest growing vendors here tell a really clear story. You've got Google One and Anthropic, no surprise with their core AI models. But look who's right behind them: Descript, Naden, and Lindy. These are companies whose growth is absolutely exploding because they sell agentic workflows for things like video editing, sales, and marketing. I mean, come on, that is not a coincidence. It's a massive market signal. To really get this shift, you have to understand the difference between a copilot and an agent. We're all pretty used to copilots by now. They're assistants, right? They wait for us to give them a command. But agents are the next huge leap forward. These are autonomous systems that can take a goal and execute complex, multi-step tasks all on their own. It's the difference between having an assistant who takes notes for you and one who can go and manage an entire project from start to finish.
And the scale of this adoption is just staggering. By the end of 2023, 75%. Think about that. 3 out of every 4 developers were already using AI coding tools. This is not some niche trend for the early adopters anymore. This is a mainstream wave that is transforming the industry from the ground up.
So what happens when millions of developers start using AI every single day? Well, the very act of coding itself is being completely rewritten. We are entering this new era of coding with conversation, and it's leading to some pretty wild and fascinating new ways to build software. So this first new method is called chat-oriented programming, or CHOP for short. Instead of you staring at a blank screen, you're literally having a dialogue with an AI. You describe what you need, the AI drafts some code, and then you refine it using natural language. You can just say, hey, make that function iterative instead of recursive, and the code just emerges from the conversation. It feels a lot more like a collaborative design session than old-school coding.
And then you've got this one, which has my favorite name, vibe coding. This is even more hands-off. You're giving the AI these high-level intuitive commands like, make this animation feel more responsive, and you just trust it to handle all the nitty-gritty details. It's all about guiding the vibe of the application, which allows for just unbelievably fast prototyping. You can get a weekend project up and running in a single afternoon.
But, and this is a really big but, there's a catch. Experts like Simon Willison and Adi Osmani are warning that this approach can create what they call a house of cards. The code might look like it works perfectly, but if you don't actually understand what's under the hood, it could be riddled with security flaws or just completely fall apart under real-world pressure. It's amazing for prototyping for sure, but a pro still needs to go in and make sure it's actually solid. And all of this leads to the ultimate evolution: agent programming. Here, the developer's job is no longer about writing every single instruction. It's about orchestrating a whole team of autonomous AI agents. You just set the goal, and they figure out how to plan, write, and adapt the code to get there. You're not the bricklayer anymore. You're the conductor of an AI orchestra. So think about it. When you can build software this ridiculously fast, what does that do to the business of software? Well, it creates a whole new economic reality with a completely different set of rules for what it takes to succeed.
The old playbook is officially dead. You can just tear it up. That whole era of growth at all costs is over, and it's been replaced by this laser focus on efficient, sustainable growth. Pure subscription pricing is giving way to hybrid and usage-based models, and those general one-size-fits-all tools are getting crushed by highly specific vertical solutions. The market is growing up, and it demands real, tangible value.
And in this new world, the gold standard for investors is the Rule of 40. It's actually pretty simple. Your growth rate plus your profit margin has to add up to more than 40. This one metric proves you have a healthy, efficient business, not just a machine that's burning through cash.
So, if efficiency and reliability are the new rules of the game, then shipping buggy, untrustworthy AI-generated code becomes a fatal error, right?
Suddenly, establishing accountability for your code is no longer a nice-to-have. It's a core business imperative.
So how do you actually build that trust? Well, this framework here gives you a pretty great roadmap. It's not about slowing down innovation. It's about managing it intelligently. The core idea is to create a controlled environment. You start by carefully picking and customizing your AI models. Then you build a system to track everything: which models are being used, where AI-generated code is in your system, and who ultimately owns it. This creates a clear chain of accountability, and it ensures that all this incredible new speed doesn't come at the cost of quality.
Okay, so this all leads to the big elephant in the room question that I know is on everyone's mind. With all this automation and efficiency, what in the world does this mean for our jobs?
You see it in the media all the time, right? The narrative is simple and honestly pretty scary. AI is coming for all of our jobs. But is that what's really going on here? Or is AI just becoming a convenient excuse for companies to do layoffs?
Well, when you actually look at the data, the story gets a whole lot more complicated. Tech layoffs have actually decreased for 2 straight years. After that big spike in 2023, the numbers have been falling. So that suggests there's a lot more going on here than just simple AI replacement.
The CEO of IBM, Arvind Krishna, offers a really compelling counter-narrative. He argues that a lot of the recent job cuts are just a natural correction from the massive overhiring spree that happened during the pandemic. Companies just expanded like crazy to meet all that digital demand, and now they're resizing. It's less about AI taking jobs and more about post-COVID right-sizing.
So the real story isn't one of replacement, it's one of evolution. The most valuable skills are shifting. The best developers are moving away from writing every line of code by hand and moving toward curating AI output, designing robust systems, and orchestrating agents. The new mandatory skill? It's a commitment to continuous learning and becoming truly AI literate.
So, if we put all of this together, what does the future of software actually look like? This new paradigm isn't just changing how we build things, it's completely changing what's even possible to build.
I love this slide because it's basically the entire story in 3 steps. The developer's role has evolved through these distinct phases. We started as the coder, writing everything by hand. Then we became the co-pilot, collaborating with AI to get faster. And now we are becoming the orchestrator, guiding these powerful autonomous systems to achieve really ambitious goals.
And this new role is going to create a radically different software landscape. We're going to see a huge shift to service as a software, where you buy a guaranteed outcome, not just a tool. We'll be interacting with complex business software using just our voice. That whole per-seat pricing model will die, and it'll be replaced by billing based on the amount of AI work performed. And our interfaces are going to become hyper-personalized, dynamically adapting to each and every user in real time.
So we're going to end on this thought. For decades, the central challenge in software was a technical one. Can we even build this thing? In this new era, as developers become conductors of AI, that question is changing. The barrier to creation is just vanishing. The new and frankly much more interesting challenge is one of imagination. What should we ask it to build next?